Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, April 2nd, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This coming Monday, elementary school students across the district are set to return to school full-time, followed by the older students in the weeks to follow. There have been a few changes to the requirements for the students that will be going back to school full-time. For those changes and a full return to school timeline, we go to Dr. Thompson.
Yeah, so with the first group to come back are the elementary students, which are going to come back on Monday. That will be full day, 5 days a week, starting on Monday the 5th of April. There are a couple changes that people need to be aware of, and this is kind of universal, but first around masking. First of all, we are no longer going to be allowing gaiters, and we are going to be encouraging people to double mask. Part of that is we're going from 6 feet to as close to as 3 feet. Hopefully we'll remain a little further than 3 feet, but closer together we're tightening up a little bit with our masks. The other thing is that we are going to be ending most of the half-day professional days that we've had throughout this year, and that was for collaboration and coordination. But we do need to keep 3 half days. If you'll remember, we had to take all of the professional time that we had scheduled and we kind of moved them all to Wednesday, so we basically have 3 dates. The first is Wednesday the 15th of April, and that is a half day for all schools. The second one is the 12th of May, and that is a half day for all schools. And the last one, the 26th of May, is a half day for our elementary schools. And these are for trainings that we've already been working on through these. These are kind of the last of a three-part series, so we need to finish those. So coming on Monday the 12th, the preschool will start a 5-day week, so they will kind of stick to the same schedule, but they'll include Wednesday in their schedule. And we are planning to bring back the seniors at the high school. Part of the rationale for that is we wanted to try out some things at the high school and changes that we need to make, and we also want to make sure that our high school seniors get a little bit more of an opportunity to come back. So we are going to keep the partial schedule at the high school, which is that early dismissal at 11:45, where they grab a lunch, go home, and they do a remote class from home. That will continue. After vacation, the middle school will start its process. They're going to transition with Monday, half of the kids coming in and practicing some new routines, and Tuesday, some of the kids coming in, and then Wednesday, the entire middle school will be back in person again. That is 5 days a week. And then on Tuesday of that week, the 27th of April, we're going to bring grades 9, 10, and 11 back at the high school. Again, it will still be that partial schedule at this point. We do not have a date from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education as to when high schools need to come back full-time. And there are some, planning issues around that. It's pretty easy to figure out where an elementary group of kids are going to be, but at the high school and at the middle school to some extent, although they've scheduled where they don't, there's a lot of mixing going on. So if there is an exposure, that can cause a huge contact tracing problem and multiple amounts of kids needing to be quarantined. So it has been a big lift and a lot of work over the last month, but we are in good shape. The biggest thing was waiting for furnishings to come, which has caused us this past Wednesday to have to take some time in the day so teachers could actually set up classrooms. And we decided to do it on a Wednesday because people are kind of used to being home on Wednesdays, and it wasn't a big shift for families. So appreciate everybody's patience as we go through this process. It probably will not be absolutely perfect in the beginning, and part of that is, just to give you an extent, in normal times we spend an entire summer getting ready to reshift and reallocate all of our resources. Now we're in the midst of trying to do our full-time job, which is teaching and learning, as well as try to do a shift in the middle of the year. So there will be some bumps along the way. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we work through them, and we'll continue to try to get better.
Earlier this week, NCM was granted access to tour the Southeast Mass Regional Communications Center in Foxborough. SEMREC is a regional emergency dispatch center that currently serves the towns of Foxborough, Norton, Eastern, and Mansfield. The Board of Selectmen is considering moving the emergency dispatch operations out of Norwood's Police and Fire Station and over to SEMREC. Chief Brooks and Chief Maurice explains the benefits of this potential move.
Chief Maurice and I have spent a lot of time out here, as has the Board of Selectmen and Town Manager and so forth, taking a look at this, and really I think it offers an awful lot of operational improvements over what we have now.
I would agree. I think as technology has improved over the years, it's enabled facilities like this to function and actually serve multiple communities. It's a model that has been in place for years out west, and it has now come to the eastern part of the country. With that improved service, that would be to you, the people in Norwood, the end users, and we should see faster response times with this service.
And I think we'll see considerable cost savings. I know at least for the startup, this is funded by a surcharge on people's cell phone bills, on their telephone bills, which is what actually runs the state 911 system. So places like this are set up using that kind of money, but over time, eventually Norwood will have to pay in, but even when downstream 6 years from now, when they start actually paying the full assessment, it's still going to be significant cost savings from what it costs us to dispatch now from our two departments.
There will be. The state of Massachusetts has been pushing what's called a PSAP consolidation. That's a public safety answering point, which is the police dispatch side currently. And with that, they're offering considerable savings to communities that join this type of system early on. Eventually, all communities will be part of a regional communication center, but the ones that get in early will see the most cost savings. Anyone that waits to the last minute, they will not really see any savings.
Yeah, but having a large operation like they do out here, I know that when the phone rings, like everybody picks it up, and although one person will be talking to the person making the call, already they're getting assets rolling. And it was interesting to see in our interviews out here that somebody's dispatching police, somebody different is dispatching fire, the third person is on the phone. And by having a larger center like this with multiple people pitching in, that's what leads to those reduced response times and more operational efficiency like you were talking about.
Correct. And for both fire and police, our operations should remain the same, that everything that we currently do now, this regional communication center will also be able to do. And they'll quickly call us or notify us, and we'll respond in the same manner that we always have to the people in Norwood. I know on the fire side, they'll actually be able to open the apparatus doors to let the trucks out. So when they notify them, they can open them, they'll close. Everything will be in the same manner it always has been.
So it'll be literally invisible to the residents of Norwood who need emergency police services, but it'll be done at a cost savings and with quicker response time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good thing. I think it's modern. I think it's a way of the future, and I think it's a positive move.
I agree with you, Chief, and I support it.
Stay tuned after this break for some news from the Senior Center, Fire, and Rec departments. Welcome back. The fire department is currently updating some equipment at the station to improve the functionality and health conditions at that station. This was part of an approved town meeting article from the fall of 2020. For more on this, we go to Brian Boudreau for Your Money at Work.
On the motion, for a total of $7,485,000 for the various projects described in the motion that you have in front of you. On the motion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. I hear none here. And Ms. Carney?
There are no no's, there is one aye.
Okay, I declare that unanimous. I heard no no's. The motion has carried on a unanimous vote.
In the fall of 2020, town meeting members gathered here in this gym to vote on several financial articles, one of which, the Capital Improvement Plan, allocated money to a number of departments in town for equipment upgrades and other improvements. Recently, the fire department just completed one of those upgrades.
Hi, Chief George Maurice here from Norwood Fire Department. Just letting the people in Norwood know some of the capital improvements that we're making here at the fire department. One that we just completed is we're replacing all of our 4-inch supply line hose. NFPA recommends that after 20 years we should really not be using the hose anymore. And we purchased all new hose in different lengths. Every truck in the department has now had that hose implemented onto it. You can see on the hose, the guys did a great job here. We have actually listed the length of the hose and the date that the hose is going in service, so we always know when we have to rotate the hose out.
The new fire hoses are not the only project happening in the fire station this week. The department is in the process of updating the exhaust system on the apparatus floor.
Another capital project that we're working on here at the fire department is the Plime vent system. We're replacing the whole Plime vent system except for the rails. The main reason we're replacing the Plime vent system is it's approximately 20 years old, same as the building, and we constantly had to have a vendor in to repair different parts of the system due to its age. So at that point we decided that it was time to replace the whole system. What the system does is it connects to the diesel exhaust on the apparatus and the ambulances. That way we don't have any of the members of the department breathing those fumes in. The system basically connects to the exhaust, and that exhaust will discharge the diesel fumes outside of the building again, so none of the members will be breathing that in. Currently, the fire service is realizing that occupational cancer is an issue, and we're doing everything we can here to protect our firefighters so they do not get cancer in the future.
Chief Maurice, thank you for the update. Continue to watch NCM for more capital project updates and much more on Your Money at Work. For Norwood News, I'm Brian Boudreau.
Thanks, Brian. Now that Massachusetts has entered Phase 4, Step 1 of the reopening plan, that has allowed more programs to open at the Senior Center. Carrie McCarthy explains some of the programs that reopened this week.
Hi everybody, it's Carrie McCarthy, the director of the Norwood Senior Center, and I'm here today to give you a little bit of an update on some of the changes that will come into effect on today, April 1st. We are allowing card games back at the Senior Center. I've met with the health director, and we came up with a plan so that people can call the Senior Center and reserve a table in a room that has an air purifier and windows, and you will be able to play cards. Mahjong, Scrabble, whatever your game of choice is. You will still have to be masked, and we ask that you not bring any food in, but you still will be able to come in. Just call the Senior Center. All the information is in the newsletter. If you do not receive the newsletter and you would like us to mail it to you, just give us a call and we're happy to do that. But again, just call, reserve a table. The days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, we will bring back cribbage in the big room. In that room, we'll have 6 tables of 24 set up for you to play. All the guidelines are in place. Social distancing is still very important, and we're looking forward to bringing you back to play cards.
Thanks, Carrie. With spring in full effect, the Recreation Department is getting all their courts around town in order. Travis Farley updates us.
Hi Norwood, Travis Farley here, directly behind the Savage Center off of Prospect Street. Just a friendly reminder that we have put the nets out at the pickleball courts off of Prospect Street behind the Savage Center. So if you want to use them, they're open to the public for general use. 3 pickleball courts and a basketball court. And also a friendly reminder that we have put the nets out at the Ivets tennis courts off of Washington Street right next to the middle school. So if you want to get out, play some tennis or play some pickleball, that is an option for you now. So enjoy Norwood.
Now we toss it over to Miles Kidd to find out what is happening this week around the Norwood School District.
Hi guys, I'm Miles Kidd, and let's take a look at some activities happening at our Norwood schools this week. At the high school, teacher George Stamides ordered these t-shirts for our staff to wear to promote Autism Awareness Month and to show support for our students on the spectrum. This shirt shows a map of the United States, and the states are puzzle pieces that all fit together. April is Autism Awareness Month, and World Autism Awareness Day is an internationally recognized day on April 2nd that encourages members of the United Nations to take measures to raise awareness about people with autistic spectrum disorders, including autism and Asperger's syndrome, throughout the world. At the Coakley Middle School, their Spring Norwood Food Pantry Drive is underway. You can drop off your donations in the boxes located in the main lobby. Please note, due to COVID, space is limited and the only items being collected are 15-ounce cans of stewed tomatoes, brownie mix, 7-ounce cans of Spam, small boxes of Coca, 12-ounce canned ham, Band-Aids, and adult toothbrushes. Thank you for your support. Third graders at the Balch have been working hard in both math and ELA. In writing, the students have been busy writing and editing their pieces of historical fiction. In math, they have been working with fractions. The students have especially enjoyed reinforcing their skills during station rotations, where they use manipulatives, games, small groups, and independent work. It's amazing how much we have learned about fractions already. Mrs. Duffy, Balch's librarian, would like to share the newly realized socially distanced Balch Library. In the last 2 weeks, students have been invited back in the library for library classes. The library was transformed from a pre-COVID setup to a socially distanced environment. It was a team effort, and she would like to thank everyone who helped to make it possible to be back in the library. Students can enjoy checking out books, using technology, and reading in the library setting once more. Thank you to Principal Diane Ferreira for her guidance and support in making the library transition possible. A special thank you to Anna Fogg, Norwood's desktop sports specialist, for her planning and moving of a variety of technology devices. A big shout out to Balch's custodian Tony Giampa, whose tireless efforts moving and removing storage cabinets, carts, tables, and chairs to open up space. Over 80% of Cleveland School's 4th and 5th grade students opted to participate in Book and Beyond Reading program by reading at least 2 of 10 book selections. Students then voted and gave Cleveland School Reader Awards to the graphic novel version I Survived the Sinking of the Titanic, 1912. Also at the Cleveland, students had a peeping good time this week designing and building a shelter or nest for their marshmallow chick. The Little Mustangs Preschool Academy has been coloring their school with kindness this month. The children have been learning and practicing how to be a kind friend. Each time a child is caught doing something kind, the teachers write out this act of kindness on a colored heart, and it is placed on a giant black and white rainbow. The goal is to fill the rainbow with colorful hearts. The Little Mustangs have proven that kindness can still happen, even when 6 feet apart. This week, the Remote Learning Academy hosted artist Heidi Solomon in grades 1 through 5 from all elementary schools. Miss Heidi taught the students how to draw a heart map of what they are grateful for and how to express their feelings and emotions through art. She taught them how to draw an inline font and how to make unique borders to make their art really pop. Students enjoyed sharing what they are thankful for: family, pets, warm sunshine, friends, and even grilled cheese. Miss Heidi focused on how to create a relaxing, creative space using calming music, breathing techniques, and how to pay attention to all your senses in the moment. This presentation was funded by a grant from the Norwood Cultural Council, so a big thanks to them for making this program happen. At the Callahan School, Miss Barr's online group celebrated the end to online learning with a pajama day and favorite stuffed animal. The students who participated in the hybrid model surprised the teachers by holding up thank you signs for their last day of online learning. What a great surprise. And on a fun note, there is definitely a jokester among the staff of the Callahan. Google eyes were everywhere. Wherever Principal Donna Brown looked, there were Google eyes staring right back at her. And to take a look at the new updated copy machine, it's voice activated. We hope she didn't stand there and talk to the copier. What a great April Fool's. Well, that's it for school news. There's always something interesting happening in our classrooms, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's go over to Brian Dunn for the latest in Fall 2 sports.
Hello there, and welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn, and last week, you may have heard, Norwood football gets their first home victory of the season against Holliston. The Panthers are a tough program to beat under normal circumstances, and it was an absolute thrilling game in what resulted in what was Coach Lopes will tell you as the best game he's ever been a part of as a head coach of the Mustangs. Let's break it all down. So, the Mustangs, after a road victory against Medfield, come home for the first time this season with fans in the stands against the Holliston Panthers, and they did not waste their time on the opportunity. First drive of the game, Holliston looking long, and all they find is Jason Dennehy waiting. An INT puts Norwood in field goal range. A couple stops for the Panthers forces Norwood to try and go for 3, and that is blocked. A 0-to-hero moment for Holliston as Theodore Ratcliffe takes it to the house. Holliston goes up 7-0.
Catch this, man. Number 3, is that number 3? Theodore Ratcliffe.
Norwood's a greedy team, however. They make you earn your stops in the trenches, and right here they find the opening they need. Rob Bukowski breaks into the open field and forget about it. He'll run all the way to Dean Street if you let him. Touchdown Norwood, tie ball game.
And he does. He goes.
A 7-7 tie going into the half. Norwood with the ball on their own 26-yard line, and once again the running game takes over. Christian Sales with an incredible lead blocking finds the gap and takes off. No one's catching him, and the extra point makes it 14-7 Mustangs. Defense continues to do their job and give Holliston no inches. Fourth quarter rolls around, Norwood trying to seal the steal, and once again Christian Sales takes care of business, another touchdown rush, and the Mustangs go up 19-7 now in the fourth quarter. Holliston, in a very tight Warrior offense style formation, muscles their way down the field and into the end zone to cut the deficit to 5. Gut check time for Holliston with the ball, a little over a minute to go here. Running will do no good. Holliston is forced to attack through the air as they take some yards away with a screen across the middle, but Norwood didn't break. The very next play, pressure coming in, ball is loose, and Norwood secures it with the INT. And Norwood proves they are here to stay with a monumental win over one of the top programs in the state in Holliston, 19-14. We caught up with Manny Lopes after the game to get his thoughts.
Oh, Holiday was right there.
Oh, it's intercepted, and that's the ball game.
Smart. Who was that? He was smart.
Kylie's pass is intercepted by number 22, Sabul Bakal.
You know, the kids fought till the very end. We told them before, I said, you know, we want a dogfight. We want them to come in, and we want to go toe-to-toe with the best in the league. They've been the best in the league for a long time. Ashland knocked them off last year. It's our time. You know, Norwood, our kids have been working hard. This is the first full weight room we had until we got closed down in March. They busted their butts. They've been continuing to bust their butt. It's a huge win. We got multiple guys that can touch the football, and we talked at halftime, and our offensive coordinator, Coach Grant, he said, there's nothing better than fresh legs at halftime. We had Christian Sales, JJ, you know, we got guys that hadn't touched the ball yet. We get them in, and that's the spark we need. We have plenty of guys, we have plenty of mouths to feed. You know, we're a run-heavy team because we have an offensive line that just gets after it. They create a whole new line of scrimmage. It's easy for those backs to break out and bust those long ones because the guys up front are just working so hard. But these kids are excited. You know, we walked off and we pride ourselves in our defense. Our defense played great today. We pride, like I said, our offensive line. When you need the first downs and you need to get it, our guys step up. Huge first down late in the game to clock it even further. You know, they know they haven't been in a situation like this in a long time. We have 3 games left. Unfortunately, it's only 3. They'll be ready to go. We don't need to get these kids up. They know what they're playing for, and they know that the time's running out. So it's just fun. You know, we'll enjoy this one, and then we're right back to work on Monday.
We had some volleyball action Wednesday evening to round out the week in sports. No freshmen this week as JV and varsity hosted the Ashland Clockers. Norwood unfortunately still looks for their first win of the season as varsity drops their decision to Ashland in straight sets, as is JV. And that's going to do it for sports this week. But before I leave, you're reminded that this weekend we are back on the air for live Mustang football action as they host Westwood at noon. Be sure to watch and stream live. And also, Thursday was the premiere of NCM's Winter 2021 edition of Sports Extra and the Winter 2021 Sports Awards presentation. If you missed them, you can watch them now on NCM's Video On Demand. Please go check those out. It was an incredible winter season. It was great to look back on all the athletes' experiences. And that'll do it for me this week. I'll talk to you next week. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. In government, Monday night, the Finance Commission met for their first of 2 meetings in as many days. They began their meeting by approving a reserve fund transfer for the airport, followed by a capital outlay FY22 update. During the update, Tony Mizuko discussed some projects that the Facilities Department would be working on. The Commission then moved to the discussion of the FY22 general government budget, which was approved by the board. The Commission finished Monday's meeting with a discussion of the FY22 shared budget. To start off Tuesday's meeting, Karen Sheridan and the school department presented the Norwood Public Schools FY22 budget. Next up was Michelle Resendez and members of the school department from Blue Hills Regional School District to present about the FY22 school budget. The Commission then motioned to accept the proposed budget regarding the Norwood Public Schools. In regards to the Blue Hills Regional District, the Commission discussed some thoughts about the presentation, and then they motioned to approve the revised budget, including the new elementary and secondary school emergency relief allocation. The Commission also motioned to approve the shared budget with Blue Hills Regional School District. The final topic that was discussed was the approval of minutes, which was moved to the next meeting. That next meeting has not yet been scheduled. DPW Director Mark Ryan and Light Department Superintendent Kevin Shaughnessy appeared before the Board of Selectmen to submit their monthly department updates on Tuesday night. The Selectmen also held a public hearing for transfer of an all-alcoholic beverages license from the former owner of Buncaldo to 1381 Services LLC. The board unanimously approved the transfer. Town meeting was also discussed with moderator David Hearn.
I noticed we've been joined by moderator Mr. Hearn, David Hearn, and we also have the next items on new business having to do with the letter we received from Mr. Hearn recommending any town meeting, the annual or any special that might be called in May, would be a remote town meeting. And number two, we were going to be discussing town meeting we mentioned a couple weeks ago. I think talking with the manager, the plan is still, unless the board sees otherwise, that we'll call it annual on May 10th as required by the charter. And I'll also call a special for a few matters, housekeeping matters and other things that should get taken care of. And then still plan that if the planning department and other bylaws and things that are kind of hanging out there are ready, to have a meeting probably sometime in June. The special on May 10th will be probably, hopefully fairly short, and won't lengthen the annual much more than that evening or maybe two at the most. And they're just things we think should get taken care of.
I was looking at the statute just a little while ago, Chapter 92 of the Acts of 2020, and specifically Section 8. And there is a provision in Clause B of Section 8 that not later than 10 business days following receipt of the moderator's request for a remote town meeting, the board shall vote to determine if the meeting is to be held remotely. So we're at, not at 10 days, we're probably 7 business days. It refers to 10 business days. We're 7 business days tonight into that. So I don't know whether the board is content to vote on my recommendation that the May town meetings be held remotely, and to do so this evening.
So Mr. Hearn has made a point. Can you make a motion, someone to endorse the time frame?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Mr. Maloney seconds it. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
The Board of Selectmen will meet again next week. The school committee met Wednesday evening, although virtually the tradition continued on Student Government Day, where the shadowed students of school committee members, Maura Beeds, Audrey Haberlin, and Jake DeShiro, engaged in a discussion of a potential realignment of grade assignments for the new middle school building. After the student presentation, the committee continued with normal business, including a vote on the new MOU for Unit A and the FY22 NPS budget presentation by Karen Sheridan. The school committee's next meeting will be April 7th. The Conservation Commission hosted a special presentation Wednesday night. Ian Koch and Declan Devine from the Neponset River Watershed Association presented their PowerPoint labeled "How Clean is Your Stream? Quality Problems and Solutions in Norwood." The presentation went into detail on the parameters of water testing Norwood rivers and brooks and what the community can do to make their water safer for their residents. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. This week on NCM's Park Tour, we meet up with Program Coordinator Christina Grande and learn all about a park on the other side of Route 1 across town. Let's go check it out.
Hi Norwood, Christina Grande here with the Norwood Recreation Department. If you haven't met me, I'm the new Program Coordinator. Very excited to be here. Today I am coming to you from Ellis Playground, one of our hidden gems here in Norwood. It is between Cameron Road and Codman Road. And if you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. We have this amazing playground, soccer field, and a baseball field. So come on down, get outside. We've all been cooped up for way too long. We're excited to see you out this spring and summer.
Thursday, Impact Norwood announced the kickoff of its social norms campaign entitled We Are the Norm, with a mission to educate the Norwood community on the actual behaviors of youth versus the perceived behaviors of youth when it comes to substance abuse. The approach aims to promote the fact that youth in Norwood are making healthy decisions. For example, 85% of Norwood youth do not consume alcohol, according to the most recent Metro West Adolescent Health Survey. Instead of focusing on the negative behavior, which would be youth substance use in this scenario, a social norms campaign focuses on the positive behavior, that Norwood youth are spending their time in productive ways. By doing so, Impact Norwood can correct the public misperception through a focus on the healthy norm, that most of the youth in Norwood do not engage in substance use, something we can all be very proud of. For more information about Impact Norwood, please email Aubrey Seal at acl@norwoodma.gov or Francesca Golightly at fgolightly@norwoodma.gov. Just a reminder to residents, Thursday, April 8th, the Morrill Memorial Library, Progress Norwood, and Together Yes will be hosting a virtual presentation featuring attorney William Rodriguez on environmental justice. William Rodriguez will be talking about what it is and who it affects in Norwood and in the world. NCM will be carrying this event live on our channels as well as on our website at www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. For more information, please visit www.norwoodlibrary.org/Morrill calendar or call the reference desk at 781-769-0200, extension 2. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, and until then, have a great weekend.